In today's art, if you want to follow along with me, you will only need some markers that you really enjoy and some thin pens or fine liners. Most of the art is done with these two things. If you want to add some colored pencil in there too, you can do that. Of course, you can always use any of your preferred formats to replicate something like this. This serves to give you ideas, so I'm hoping that these will give you some ideas of what you can do in your own art. So let's go do this and have some fun. While I'm making the outline for this piece of art, let's talk about the scripture that I'm going to be focusing on today. This is a scripture known well by most Christians. It's Psalm 91, but this is just the last couple of verses of Psalm 91. If you're a Christian, you may already be familiar with Psalm 91. It's a powerful scripture that details some of the wonderful ways God will protect us, lift us up, and give us a firm foundation if we seek Him with all our hearts and make Him the ruler of our lives. In the psalm, the speaker changes in the last 3 verses. In the first 13 verses of this psalm, the speaker is the psalmist. In the last 3 verses, the speaker is God. So it goes from saying he will do this and that to I will do this and that. This is the NASB version, and it says, I will save him. I will set him securely on high. I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And today I want to focus on that word rescue. When I read this, I started thinking about all the times God has rescued me. Not only when I was saved, but even before that and after that, and even when I got myself into trouble. Rescue is such a good word to describe what God did in my life so many times. There are at least 3 significant times I can think of that He quite literally saved my life from myself or someone else. When I was young, I was full of angst, self-loathing, general discontent. I knew of God. I even spoke to Him and asked Him for things, but I didn't have Him in my heart and hadn't made Him Lord of my life. There were so many days that I wished myself harm or even that I would disappear, so that it's difficult to even recall any times I enjoyed myself or that I was content. And why I was there or how I got that way, it's not really a relevant point, because we all have reasons we could be angry, hurt, and in pain. What's relevant is how I was rescued from that state of being and placed on a firm foundation. What I want to encourage you with today is that God truly is a rescuer of those who are heading toward their own demise. He really does miraculously and completely remove the heavy burdens that you can't even describe to someone else because of the weight of them. And He replaces it with a peace that will make you wonder how you ever were against yourself or someone else. You'll think, how did I ever feel that desperate? He truly is a rescuer and will show up on the scene as soon as He's called upon, without delay, without debate, and without hesitation. So if you need rescued today, whatever your circumstance, I encourage you to call upon the ever-faithful rescuer. I have full confidence that He will show up. In fact, He's probably already there waiting, knowing this is your time. Don't delay for your own sake, but know that if you do, He'll still be there waiting to rescue you. So I hope that was encouraging, and I hope that you find that Jesus is your rescuer. And I never want to forget how fully and deeply He has rescued me for the rest of my life. With that said, let's turn back to this art. So you can see that what I did was create the outline of a Bible. I've written the words on the left-hand page of the Bible, and I'm creating a picture on the right. And in these words, I feel like what makes it more artful is that we can change up the typography from time to time, and I didn't do anything difficult that any beginner couldn't do. So I've mixed just regular cursive with some block letters, and then at the end I went back and filled in those block letters with little slashes, just because I thought that it made those words stand out a little bit more. and the I wills are actually really important in that verse. So, and then of course the word rescue I highlighted because that's the one we're focusing on today. And this is so easy to do. If you do this, you'll actually love the result. You just take a really lighter colored highlighter and write block letters for any word in the highlighter, and then take a fine liner and write cursive over it. And the trick to getting this right is to create long tails to each letter so that you can cover a lot of space with your cursive word. So it's definitely, the letters are more spread out than you're used to. So on the right, I'm creating this picture of a cross with a sun behind it. I'm just using markers, and the cross itself I think was made from a highlighter, so I went over it in two directions just to make it a little bit darker. And then when I get the main picture drawn in marker and colored in marker, then I will go over some of the details in a fine liner pen, and it looks really cool because it comes up with this sort of patchwork or maybe quilted look in the end. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let you peacefully watch the rest of this drawing, and you can do this. This is easy art that looks really good in the end. I was actually really happy with this one. So grab your pens and your markers and get to making something really cool like this. It doesn't have to be this picture, but a little bit of marker, some fine liner, and a quilted look goes a long way. So I'm going to let you watch the rest of this in peace, just listening to some cool music. And again, stay to the end because I've got some mock-ups at the end to show you what this would look like if you were to frame it. Personally, I'm probably not framing something like this. It works a little bit better in an art notebook, but you definitely could if it's your style. So anyway, thanks again for being here, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you really enjoy seeing this kind of art. Here are those mock-ups I promised you. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try something like this. See you next week.